second overall pick, Washington Commanders. And you say, man, they don't want me back. So.
Went on the Pivot Podcast. And if you don't know, that's a popular YouTube channel regarding sports interviews.
They told me that they didn't think that we were on the same page and that they didn't believe that we were going to. And that was about it.
That's it. But we all know the 49ers are misers when it comes to money and contracts. They have a guy over there that is very, very good at structuring contracts, taking money off the contract, add them as incentives instead of giving them a part of the contract. You know, they do all these things with different contracts. I am not a contract person, so bear with me if I don't know all the names of the terms. But with this said, I would say this. Brandon Aiyuk is the best receiver on the 49ers by far. I always felt like this, that Deebo Samuel was a gimmicky receiver. The 49ers, one of the key points 49ers lost the game in the Super Bowl was because they didn't target Brandon Aiyuk and they tried to target Deebo Samuel, who is not even close to the same receiver as Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk is very similar to the skill set of a Davante Adams. So he's very similar to me in his body size, his frame, the way he runs routes. Reminds me of Davante Adams from the Raiders. I think he's still on the Raiders. So that's who he reminds me of. And that Davante Adams, if you don't know now, if you don't watch football, or if you're living under a rock, Davante Adams is probably one of the best wide receivers in the league. And he's been like that for a long time. So Deebo Samuels is a good receiver, but he's not a elite receiver. He had a elite one season that drew him into making a big contract. But we all saw last year when they saw those footage, when they figured out what they were doing and they figured out what Shanahan was doing with the plays, that Deebo Samuel was not the same receiver he has been except for that one season. Brandon Aiyuk has always been open. He just never got as much targets as Deebo Samuel did, and that's due to Mike Shanahan's play calling. We all know that Mike Shanahan and Brandon Aiyuk has been on the outs back and forth to a point where it was rumor speculation for some reason, was really weird, that Brandon Aiyuk was in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse at one point during a season or two ago. So with this said, just to sum it up real quick, I do think there's a deal that will be getting done. It's because the 49ers are always a team that listens to the fans sometimes, and there may be a lot of backlash if they don't get a type of deal done for Aiyuk, or they could get a deal done and they sign and trade him. Some of the teams that kind of stand out for that will be the Washington Redskins, who has ties with the starting quarterback of the Washington Redskins and just got drafted, and Steelers as well. There are other teams that also need a receiver, like the Baltimore Ravens as well. So it'll be very interesting to see in the next upcoming month or so how this plays out. Will Brandon Aiyuk be a San Francisco 49ers, or will he end up somewhere else via trade for draft picks? And the 49ers love draft picks. Despite not doing the best in the first rounds of the draft, I would imagine if they did do a sign and trade, it would have to be something where they would get a high caliber draft pick at least, but I really feel like if you do draft someone, you don't know what type of person that player is going to turn out. Hence the 49ers mistakes as before, But we all know, bottom line is, Brandon Aiyuk is here to stay in the NFL, and he is going to be a problem for up-and-coming defenses in the next NFL season.